Cada amanecer es una nueva oportunidad de trabajo, desafíos, riesgos, logros y esfuerzo. Todos los días el agro despierta para volver a empezar. Y ese comienzo inicia en la semilla. En INACE trabajamos para que este primer paso sea de la mejor calidad. Nuestro compromiso es con el sector semillerista de todos los rubros. Pertenecemos a una cadena productiva que quiere crecer, que busca transparencia y garantías. Como referentes en análisis de calidad, incorporamos tecnología para adaptarnos a una realidad productiva siempre en movimiento. Generamos información que aporta al trabajo de productores, técnicos y empresas. Proponemos políticas para responder a sus demandas y a un modelo sustentable de país. Trabajamos por un mercado transparente que impulsa el buen hacer y persigue la ilegalidad. Lideramos el proceso de certificación de semillas para profesionalizar la producción y favorecer la apertura de mercados. Queremos generar impacto aquí y allá, y que al final del día nuestro trabajo le sume al país, sinónimo de buena semilla. Y mañana será una nueva oportunidad para volver a empezar. Cada amanecer es una nueva oportunidad de trabajo, desafíos, riesgos, logros y esfuerzo. Todos los días el agro despierta para volver a empezar. Y ese comienzo inicia en la semilla. En INACE trabajamos para que este primer paso sea de la mejor calidad. Nuestro compromiso es con el sector semillerista de todos los rubros. Pertenecemos a una cadena productiva que quiere crecer, que busca transparencia y garantías. Como referentes en análisis de calidad, incorporamos tecnología para adaptarnos a una realidad productiva siempre en movimiento. Generamos información que aporta al trabajo de productores, técnicos y empresas. Proponemos políticas para responder a sus demandas y a un modelo sustentable de país. Trabajamos por un mercado transparente que impulsa el buen hacer y persigue la ilegalidad. Lideramos el proceso de certificación de semillas para profesionalizar la producción y favorecer la apertura de mercados. Queremos generar impacto aquí y allá, y que al final del día nuestro trabajo le sume al país, sinónimo de buena semilla. Y mañana será una nueva oportunidad para volver a empezar. Cada amanecer es una nueva oportunidad de trabajo, desafíos, riesgos, logros y esfuerzo. Todos los días el agro despierta para volver a empezar. Y ese comienzo inicia en la semilla. En INACE trabajamos para que este primer paso sea de la mejor calidad. Nuestro compromiso es con el sector semillerista de todos los rubros. Pertenecemos a una cadena productiva que quiere crecer, que busca transparencia y garantías. Como referentes en análisis de calidad, incorporamos tecnología para adaptarnos a una realidad productiva siempre en movimiento. Generamos información que aporta al trabajo de productores, técnicos y empresas. Proponemos políticas para responder a sus demandas y a un modelo sustentable de país. Trabajamos por un mercado transparente que impulsa el buen hacer y persigue la ilegalidad. Lideramos el proceso de certificación de semillas para profesionalizar la producción y favorecer la apertura de mercados. Queremos generar impacto aquí y allá, y que al final del día nuestro trabajo le sume al país, sinónimo de buena semilla. Y mañana será una nueva oportunidad para volver a empezar.
Good morning, everybody. I am Daniel Baise. I am the Executive Director of the National Seed Institute, and we are very pleased to be here opening this first national meeting of seed analysts. In this meeting, as you can see in our logotype, we will be able to see all the steps of the analysis. This is very important. We were adjusting this for a basic level to lab analysts, and it's focused on technicians, students, so you can start learning about this activity. Now we want to thank the Ministry of Livestock, Agriculture and Fishing, and the Institute of Agricultural Investigation, and the University of the Republic that declared our meeting of interest. I would like to introduce you to Dr. Vanessa Sosa. She works with our lab, and we continue with our activity. Thank you very much, Daniel. The same way as Daniela, I would like to welcome to this first meeting, seed analyst meeting, and we will try to focus on different areas that have to do with quality. We would like to thank all the sponsors of the event, all the participants, all the students. That we have more than 700 people that are participating, and they come from all the 5 continents. So among the public, the audience, we have people that are training to be seed analysts and studying. We hope they will really find some benefits from this. And we have also people that are already working with seeds, and we hope this will help them reinforce their knowledge. Besides that, we are very proud of this event. When we saw that how many people were interested in taking part in this kind of training. We have more than 30 sponsors that made it possible that this event was for free and having simultaneous interpretation into English. These sponsors, they are coming from different areas of the seed industry. And we have also other suppliers that are interested in participating in this event. I will name them so I don't forget any of them. Anaproce, ADP, Aerofertil, ASM, Dambo, Herrería en Tornería El Gauchito, Erro, Filtrado, Gentus, Las and Company, Latu, LGC Group, Match Vision, Maghreb, Maltería Oriental, Maltería Uruguay, Procampos Semillas, Prolesa, Rayland, Ricetech, Rutilan, Saman, Satus, Ager, Cispro, Scafia y Asociados, Tanirel, UPM, and Urupov. Besides cooperating, many of these companies and other institutions and organizations, they have helped very actively with the organization of the event that was enable all this success with so many participants that have enrolled. Now we are going to show you 2 videos, one of Steve Jones and one of Andreas Weiss, the president and the executive secretary of ISTA.
Hi everyone. The participants of the. Hi everyone. Hello,
Hola a
hola, and
todos.
welcome from me, Steve
Hola,
Jones,
soy Steve
the current
Jones,
ISTA president, to
el
this
actual
virtual event,
presidente
your
de
first
ISTA.
Uruguay meeting for
Bienvenidos a este
seed
evento virtual,
analysts.
primer
I've
encuentro
had the
uruguayo
chance
de
to visit
analistas de
Uruguay in
semillas. Tuve la
2015
oportunidad de
as a
visitar Uruguay
participant
en
of the very
2015
successful
como
annual
participante de
meeting
la
that was
exitosa
hosted there in
reunión anual que se
Montevideo.
celebró en
And then again
Montevideo
in
y
2019
luego
as an ISTA
nuevamente en
auditor to
2019
the
como auditor
Ignaz's
de
ISTA
ISTA
accredited
del laboratorio
laboratory.
del INASE
I very much
acreditado
enjoyed
por
both my visits, and in
Disfruté mucho mis
2019
visitas y
I
en
went to other
2019
South
fui
American
a otros
countries
países
and also attended the
sudamericanos
Seed
y asistí a
Association
la
of the Americas
reunión de
meeting in
la Asociación
Argentina.
de Semillas de las
Indeed, I
Américas en
know that the
Argentina.
ECOM member for
Sé que
South
el miembro del
America,
Comité
Ignacio
Ejecutivo
from
ECOM para
Argentina, will be
Sudamérica,
with you at your
Ignacio de
meeting. And
Argentina,
his Spanish is a lot
estará con
better than
ustedes
mine
en
to
su
help in those
encuentro. Su
interesting
español es mucho mejor que
conversations
el
I'm
mío para
sure
ayudar
you
en las
will all have
interesantes
during this
conversaciones
meeting.
que mantendrán a lo
South
largo del
American
día.
countries have
Hace
long
ya
had
tiempo que
an
los
involvement
países
with ISTA, and the
sudamericanos
continued interest and
participan en
support for ISTA is
ISTA y
much
la comunidad
appreciated
de
by
ISTA
myself and
y
others in the ISTA
valoramos
community.
mucho su
It's
interés y
great
su
to see
apoyo
the mix
continuo
of
a
different
ISTA.
people
Es
giving
fantástico ver la
presentations at your
variedad de
meeting,
expositores del
many of whom I
encuentro. Conozco a
recognize
muchos
from my
de ellos.
visits. I think it will be a great opportunity to share knowledge and promote interest in the work of people involved in seed sampling, testing, technology and research. Whenever I visit South America, I'm always very impressed by the enthusiasm and interest shown by the younger people involved in the seed work there. These are the next generation of ISTA Technical Committee and then Executive Committee members. For sure they will be better equipped than myself to keep pace with the rapidly changing world of IT and web communication tools. That is why we are trying to facilitate their involvement in ISTA with the Younger ISTA initiative, led by our Vice President Kashavulu. This is also why we want more people to be able to experience the work of ISTA, so we will continue to host webinars and virtual events and hope to have both virtual and in-person attendance at future ISTA meetings, and therefore allow as many people to be involved as possible. New technology is a way to help seed testing in the future, with things like image analysis and molecular testing all playing an important part, but people will still be needed for many years to come and are the essential equipment in any seed testing laboratory. I hope that at some stage in the future I will meet up with some of you again in person or online. I know ISTA hopes to hold more in-person workshops again in the future, and Uruguay has offered to host some of these, once again when international travel is safe. Until then, stay safe, look after yourself as well as your friends and families, and have a great meeting. Thanks, bye.
Universities and schools. And so INASE has taken this role, and this has led us to make some progress in this sense and generate this event. Sometimes are in person, and now thanks to the technology, we can go much faster and globally. And I think, Vanessa, you wanted to announce a new activity that we will have. As we were saying in the beginning, we are very proud of the big participation in this event that was encouraging us to start thinking about a new occasion. As in this moment, we are focused in the basic level for people that are getting trained or just started working in seed test labs. And now we would like to organize for next year another event for people that are already working, that already have experience, and they would like to deepen in the knowledge of these different tasks that they have to carry out. Those persons that have already had experience in the ones that didn't have experience in this, we hope that this will give you a general overview of the different things you have to take into account when you are doing seed test, analyzing the different seed lots. So you will see the different responsibilities in each of the steps. That's what we want to share with you. and that from here you have the first approach of what you have to take into account to do this, to carry out this activity in a proper way, and then you can get to know more and go deeper in this training. We would like to highlight that this is not a training course for analysts. We are just sharing the basic concepts that you have to have very clear, so that you then can deepen in each of them to be properly prepared. So we will start with physical purity. It's a critical analysis that all labs have to do, all the main ideas that you have to keep in mind. Then we will move to physiological quality, seeing how they germinate, germination tests, and this. Then we will move in the afternoon to genetic quality, together with quality assurance. That is all the aspects that we have to take into account for our good results. And when we report what our lab is reporting, when they issue their certificates, test certificates, it's really a picture of the current status of that seed lot. So the analysts, they have to work with a high responsibility, because from that point, you will define what is the destination of that seed lot. So we hope we will be able to give you this idea. So we will continue with our event. We will share again the video of Steve Jones, the president of the ISTA. Go ahead.
Hi everyone. Hello, hola, and welcome from me, Steve Jones, the current ISTA president, to this virtual event, your first Uruguay meeting for seed analysts. I had the chance to visit Uruguay in 2015 as a participant at the very successful annual meeting that was hosted there in Montevideo, and then again in 2019 as an ISTA auditor to the IGNAS's ISTA accredited laboratory. I very much enjoyed both my visits, and in 2019 I went to other South American countries and also attended the Seed Association of the Americas meeting in Argentina. Indeed, I know that the ECOM member for South America, Ignacio from Argentina, will be with you at your meeting, and his Spanish is a lot better than mine, to help in those interesting conversations I'm sure you will all have during this meeting. South American countries have long had an involvement with ISTA, and the continued interest and support for ISTA is much appreciated by myself and others in the ISTA community. It is great to see the mix of different people giving presentations at your meeting, many of whom I recognize from my visits. I think it will be a great opportunity to share knowledge and promote interest in the work of people involved in seed sampling, testing, technology and research. Whenever I visit South America, I'm always very impressed by the enthusiasm and interest shown by the younger people involved in the seed work there. These are the next generation of ISTA Technical Committee and then Executive Committee members. For sure they will be better equipped than myself to keep pace with the rapidly changing world of IT and web communication tools. That is why we are trying to facilitate their involvement in ISTA with the Younger ISTA initiative, led by our Vice President Kashavulu. This is also why we want more people to be able to experience the work of ISTA. So we will continue to host webinars and virtual events, and hope to have both virtual and in-person attendance at future ISTA meetings, and therefore allow as many people to be involved as possible. New technology is a way to help seed testing in the future, with things like image analysis and molecular testing all playing an important part, but people will still be needed for many years to come and are the essential equipment in any seed testing laboratory. I hope that at some stage in the future I will meet up with some of you again in person or online. I know ISTA hopes to hold more in-person workshops again in the future, and Uruguay has offered to host some of these, once again when international travel is safe. Until then, stay safe, look after yourself as well as your friends and families, and have a great meeting. Thanks, bye.
Thank you very much, Steve, for your good wishes for our event. We hope we will be able to organize live and in-person workshops. And we are so far using this tool that we are adjusting to it. Now we offer the floor to Andreas Weiss, the Secretary General of the
participants of the first Uruguayan meeting for seed analysts. Dear colleagues at the NASA Uruguay, for all who don't know me, my name is Andreas Weiss. As the Secretary General of the International Seed Testing Association, ISTA, I wish you all the best for your first virtual meeting of seed analysts in Uruguay. It would have been a pleasure for me to talk to you directly. Today, time is not the limiting factor for traveling, but the pandemic situation caused by the novel SARS coronavirus. I had the chance to meet some of you at ISTA meetings or meetings of other international organizations in the past. Some of you are even well related to the ISTA family and participate in the work of the ISTA technical committees. Seed testing laboratories are the most important stakeholders in ISTA, as uniformity in seed sampling and testing is an important factor to ensure seed quality in a way that all parties involved in seed trade follow the same rules. When ISTA was founded nearly 100 years ago, harmonization of rules for seed testing was eminent to enable laboratories to have comparable and mutually acceptable results. It was very soon that the results of tests using ISTA rules were accepted worldwide as an effect of this effort. As time became a more and more important factor in not only trading seed, ISTA opened for industrial and third-party laboratories, beside official laboratories, to join the association about 25 years ago. The introduction of the accreditation system to laboratory members followed a year later. But keeping the accreditation system and the developments of the ISTA rules for sampling and testing under the governance of the governments of ISTA member states or distinct economies. This is helping with the acceptance of the rules and the results obtained by accredited ISTA member laboratories worldwide. South America became one of the areas in the world where ISTA needed to grow during the last decade. This was only possible with the help of the national seed testing laboratories like INASE in Uruguay is. Nowadays, a good number of laboratories in South America are ISTA members, and most of them are accredited to ISTA to issue ISTA Orange International certificates for seed trade. Nonetheless, ISTA has a need to germinate better in South America, as we believe. That is the key to ensure safe trade of high-quality seed, not only from and to Uruguay, but also in the whole of South America and beyond. One step may be that the ISTA international rules for seed testing are now available also in Spanish. This was a great effort and achievement, which should enable all laboratories in Uruguay and the whole of South and Middle America to have better access to this important document. ISTA will continue to have more information available in Spanish, like the Seedling Evaluation Handbook, for instance. For me personally, having had a scientific sojourn in South America as a PhD student, this is a matter that is near to my heart. Talking about young people, ISTA opened an initiative called Young at ISTA to support young seed scientists and seed analysts. You may follow any information on this initiative on the ISTA newsletter or in the Young at ISTA forum on LinkedIn. There is still a lot to be done, and part of the work is related to your meeting. Let your ideas flow and germinate, and let them grow into the ISTA community via your colleagues active in the ISTA committees. Let us all come together in future when the conditions allow personal meetings again. And all the best for your meeting from the ISTA headquarters in Switzerland. Have a good meeting.
We would like to thank ISTA for the comments, presentations, and for your wishes as well, and then their announcements, especially regarding what they've been doing lately regarding translating the rules into different languages, and after this handbooks, etc. And we will probably be able to help as well from our institution with this activity. I will talk to you very briefly about our country at present. Uruguay is a small country within the South American context. We have strategically focused on the quality of products, especially in the agricultural sector, in order to produce for highly demanding markets. This is a strategic decision. As you can imagine, we are wedged between two giant countries, so we cannot really compete with the volume. Therefore, we have strategically decided to have products such as beef and beef byproducts, pulp, rice, wood, etc. And we sell to markets like the United States, the European Union, China, Mexico, Algeria, and of course, our Mercosur neighbors, Argentina and Brazil. These are our main clients. And we also, I think I forgot soybean as well. In all these agricultural areas, we export most of our production. INASE, the National Seed Institute, is responsible for regulating the seed sector in Uruguay, and it has been doing so for 25 years now. It's an institute that does not belong to the state, but rather they have delegated this authority to us, and we are a private law institute, actually. We balance different interests in an executive committee formed by 5 members. One of them is a representative of the Ministry of the Executive Branch, and 4 private members that represent seed users, producers, and dealers. Therefore, we have this board, executive board, and we have all the interests represented, therefore making everyone's participation equal and transparent. Regarding our structure, we're a small institute. There's 65 people. In the picture, we have 100% of INASE's staff. We have an annual budget of around $3 million US. We have an executive director. I hold that position currently, and it is organized according to each topic into areas. I would now like to give you an overview of our structure. There is an area that has to do with the registration of varieties, that is responsible for all the varieties that are produced and sold countrywide. It's also responsible for the registry of plant breeders' rights. We have 2 registries, the trade one and the property one. Regarding maximizing quality, uniformity, and compatibility within systems, our registry of our varieties registry is available at our platform UPOV Prisma, as you can see on the slide, so that the cultivars information can be managed from this platform. We also have a testing area that is in charge of field technical verifications for the registries and the property registries as well, the DHE exams as well, variety verification of imported seeds. Uruguay imports a large volume of seeds, especially for sorghum, maize, and soybean. It is also responsible for nationally produced seeds. We control the genetic quality of the seeds, and of course, post-control of certified seeds. Regarding the seed certification system, it is also important in our institution. Of course, all our areas are important and they all work very intensively. But in particular, here the certification area is in charge of guaranteeing that those genetic quality standards, both for seeds and plants, are fulfilled. INASE works with actually all the dispersal materials, seed, plant, whatever. And we have different programs under certification schemes, OECD, the EU, AOSCA, and of course the Mercosur. Regarding trade control, a further area, it is responsible for all the stakeholders, producers, dealers, and seed companies actually comply with the relevant regulations. We guarantee seed users that what they are buying is really what is described on the bag's label. And also we ensure that there is no unloyal competition in the market. We have, of course, our quality laboratory, the host of this meeting. It is a national laboratory in the country when it comes to analysis, and this is included in the founding law. It is responsible for the physical, physiological, molecular, and health-related analysis. Every seed that is sold in the country needs to have the support of a laboratory. That can be our laboratory, but it can also be other laboratories, as Vanessa will explain later on. It can also be a private laboratory that needs to be registered with INASE. It is audited and supervised by us as well. We also have some cross-cutting areas in our institute that coordinate our work. Therefore, we work coherently and as a unit. This is a finance and administration department that is in charge of the administrative work within the institute. We also have a communication area which is newly formed within the institute. It is essential to have this area. It needs really qualified professionals because they need to help in our daily activities. This activity is an example of their work, for instance. There is also a legal area. As I was saying, INASE has been delegated specific capacities by the state. Therefore, we have a strong and solid legal department. Within the control activities, we can also apply penalties, fines, etc. when we see, when we detect non-compliance situations. Finally, last but not least, there is the statistics department. They are in charge of managing all the information, and they also work in a cross-cutting way. They work with a laboratory, with import declarations, etc., in order to provide us all with the necessary inputs for our activities and to help us plan our work. We are really enthusiastic and we coordinate our work in a cross-cutting manner. We aim to work efficiently and in a transparent way, and we want to ensure the quality of our work. So as I was saying at the beginning, we're very happy to share our knowledge in order to dynamize production, to professionalize the sector with these training activities, which are specific. And this is the role that we have taken on in an ad hoc way. Thank you everyone so much. I hope you enjoy the technical talks, and hopefully we will have a very fruitful debate. We have over 700 participants, so there are so many people interested in this. It's a huge challenge to Vanessa as well, who needs to take this on for next year as well. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Daniel. Yes, it's a lot of work, but we're very happy. Ignacio Arciaga goes now. He's an agronomist from the University of Morón. He has an MA in seed awarded by the University of Córdoba. He is now the quality director of INASE in Argentina. He's also a member of the ISTA's executive committee. Ignacio, you have the floor. Good morning. Thank you, Vanessa. It is an honor to be here today in this event, which is really important for the region. I've been working at this kind of laboratory, seeds analysis laboratory, for 21 years. So this type of meeting, be it virtual or in person, is really important for seeds analysis labs. It is essential to have this time to talk to each other, to share experiences, to share our thoughts in order to help each other. This is essential, and we need to mention it. Having said this, I would like to thank INASE from Uruguay. Thank you, Daniel and Vanessa, for inviting me to be part of this major meeting. Now, I will give you a brief presentation so that you can go directly into seed analysis after me. I would like to present ISTA very briefly in order to invite you to participate in the various activities organized by the institution. I will now share the screen.
Ahí estamos viendo, Ignacio. Está comenzando. Ahí.
Thank you, Vanessa. Yes, we can see the screen. You heard what I said before, right? Just to check. Yes, it was fine. Thank you. Thank you. As I was saying, I was invited to make a presentation on what the Seed Testing Association is. First of all, I would like to tell you ISTA's objective. Generally speaking, we aim to ensure the quality of seeds through uniform seeds analysis. And it's very important. The role of seeds analysis is important currently and for the future world. Regarding our approach, it is our association is a non-profit organization formed by seeds labs and seeds professionals. ISTA works under the governance of the member countries and of the various economies. Later on, I will explain what this governance of member countries and various economies means. Let us go back in time. We can see here this the story of the seeds labs that started in 1876 when Frederick Nobel, the father of seeds analysis labs, published his famous Handbook of Seed Science and held a meeting in Hamburg. Its motto was uniformity in seed testing. Currently, if you have a look at ISTA's logo, part of the logo was created in 1876 because a vision was set. Since 1876, this vision has consolidated and it's still fully valid nowadays, especially regarding the role of seeds analysis labs in the future. In 1924, 26 countries participated in a meeting held in Cambridge, where the International Seed Testing Association was founded. In 1931, at the request of the ISF, ISTA adopted the first international rules for seed testing in order to harmonize seeds analysis worldwide. It also established the famous ISTA certificates scheme. The certificates are printed in 2 colors. I'll tell you about this later. In 1950, in a Congress held in Washington, the first outside of Europe, and after 13 years of interruption because of World War II, ISTA met again, confirming its importance for the world seed trade. In 1955, and given the need to continue growing, during the ISTA Congress held in Copenhagen, ISTA membership was opened to private laboratories and private seed companies. Until that moment, only state laboratories participated in ISTA. In 1996, ISTA experienced a huge change. To ensure harmonized seed testing worldwide, ISTA initiated the quality assurance program to upgrade seed testing laboratories. The first ISTA member laboratory was audited under the new standard. In 2004, during the ISTA Congress held in Budapest, it was agreed to consider accreditation as a purely technical task, and the responsibility to give authorization to issue ISTA International Seed Analysis Certificates was given to the ISTA Executive Committee. This means that under the lab accreditation system and of also the audit programs in those labs, after the audits are approved, the ISTA's Executive Committee actually certifies the accreditation and allows the laboratory to start to issue or continue issuing ISTA certificates. Something that we must remember, and this reminds us of the importance of ISTA accredited laboratories, is that these certificates belong to ISTA. And this accreditation awarded allows accredited laboratories to use the certificates. As I was saying, this story began over 150 years ago with a visionary, Nobel. And he asked himself these questions, which are simple, of course, but they have triggered everything that has to do with seed science. The questions: is the seed sold to agricultures? Does it belong to the corresponding species? How many seeds correspond to the botanical species? Which other botanical species can be found in the seed sold? Does the seed sold have the potential to produce a healthy plant? As we can see, these 4 questions actually include all the content of the different laws and trade standards in the various countries worldwide. This is a link to a video clip, which we will not watch now because of time constraints. But it is a video of a small seeds laboratory in 1939. Here we can see many of the activities conducted nowadays in seeds laboratories. And this was already done many, many years ago. Requirements established by Nobel to answer to the questions above. He determined that it was necessary to have science-based laboratories to conduct the analysis. Sampling is essential because it is the beginning of the whole chain. It was necessary to have standardized methods to conduct the necessary analysis. And this is where ISTA rules came from. he also said that all the analysis need to be concluded before the seed is sold to the final user, because the idea was to protect the seed user. And he also established that statistics had an essential role for seeds analysis.
Due to all this, the goals are to develop, adopt, and publish standard procedures for seed sampling and testing, and promote the uniform application of these procedures to the evaluation of seeds that promote international trade, and also to promote investigation in all the areas of science and seed science and technology. If we take a look at the world, currently, ISTA includes 82 countries that have at least one active ISTA member, 235 member labs. And here we can see the distribution in the different continents. We can see that South America has a very good representation. Is very well represented. And regarding members, we have 67 designated authorities. I will refer what it is soon. 34 personal members and 64 associated members. What is the ISTA membership? What's a member lab? It's a lab that is focused on seed analysis, seed testing that supports ISTA objectives. It participates in proficiency testing. These testings for member countries, they can decide if they do it or not. For other laboratories, this is for the accredited laboratories, they can choose if they do it. If not, it's a compulsory thing. They have free access online to international seed testing rules for multiple users. They can buy ISTA publications for a lower price. The member labs, they have usually an additional membership for free for a personal member that is usually the technical director of the lab, and they get for free a copy of the ISTA manuals when they decide to sign in. All the members, all the staff members of the lab, they have priority to enroll in any ISTA event with a lower fee. These are the prices for the memberships for a lab. And what we define as a personal member is a person that is involved in science and seed testing, or its technical control that supports its objectives. It has also free access to online access to international seed testing rules for one user. They can buy the ISTA publications for a lower price, and they get a free copy of ISTA manuals when they are published. Another important thing for personal members is that they get for free, they can publish for free their technical articles in the Seed Science and Technology. That's the ISTA bulletin that is published worldwide, and they have priority to enroll, to register in any ISTA event. Then we have the associated member. That's a person that is involved in seed science and testing, or their technical control that supports ISTA objectives. They can buy online the access as a single user to the seed testing, international seed testing regulations and other publications of ISTA. So there you could see the fee. Having shown all the different memberships of ISTA, I would like to share with you the structure of ISTA. This is very important because it shows how all the countries are participating, the member countries. In the beginning, I was pointing out that ISTA is under the governance of the member countries. And what does that mean? That the members of the person members of ISTA, they can become designated members, and they can even have the right to vote if they are designed by the appointed by their design authorities. What are these authorities? They are usually high rank officers of governments that appoint persons to represent the government at ISTA, and it can be more than one member, but usually it gives the possibility to vote only one of these appointed members, and that member in the ISTA annual meeting has an active vote to give an opinion on the different articles, changes in rules, the membership fees, accreditation, and even the members of the executive members, to vote for the members of the executive members that are elected every 3 years. So they can there is a very active participation of different ISTA member countries because of all these possibilities of participation. That's why we show this chart on the right side of the screen. You see the members that they vote on the executive committee that have a president, a vice president, a former immediate president, and general members. Then the executive committee coordinates with the ISTA Secretary General, with the Secretariat, and the different technical committees. Here you can see the current members of the executive committee. You already got the message of Steve Jones and of Mr. Weiss, the Secretary General of ISTA. And in 2022, Keshavulu will become the next ISTA president. As you see, the members in general, they represent a different continents, and that's something that is really something that ISTA likes to have, that all continents are represented, and so that we can see the different needs of each region. That's why the pillars of ISTA are international standardization of methodologies, international standardization of lab results, the international standardization of the results, and so on. As I referred, ISTA has 20 technical committees that are, they have to do with different areas that have to do with seed proficiency and technology, and they involve about 270 scientists all around the world. And with a very hard work, they carry out this vision that I was presenting earlier, and they do it because they believe this is necessary regarding harmonization of seed testing. This enables that in an annual, each year, more than 250 seed professionals, they can get trained in ISTA workshops. So here I leave a link that takes you to the ISTA webpage, where you can take a look at the different committees and all the planning that they do, and also the different information that I believe it's of high value for a seed testing lab. Another important thing I would like to highlight is the different publications of ISTA, the international rules that are the basis of all the work that is carried out in the labs. Actually, currently, even if English is a reference language, now we have 3 other languages. We have them in Spanish, and that's, I think is of high value, because to have the rules in our own language let us understand much better what each of the analysts have to do in each lab, and they can understand very clearly what is the role and what to do in the lab. Another important publications are the validation methods of ISTA. So most of the changes in the ISTA regulations, they have to come together with a validation report in order to be able to make this technical change in the regulations or in the rules. And here I would like to highlight once more the importance to participate in ISTA. This year in the annual meeting, it was voted the inclusion of new topics in the rules. This was a work that I was carrying out with a colleague from Chile, and it is important because of the value of including in ISTA to harmonize technology species that are in our region. We are working with Salvia hispanica and other species. So to continue presenting the different publications, we have a pest list. We have 14 manuals that are available as e-manuals, and we have the scientific publications that I already referred, the Seed Science and Technology, that is an annual publication, and then is a publication that takes place twice a year. That's also a bulletin that presents different news about this industry. I was referring to the value of accreditation of a seed testing lab. The INASE has been in Uruguay, has been accredited by ISTA. And what's the impact of this? This facilitates the trade of seed lots from Uruguay to different countries in the world. This is more than important, and this accreditation started in 1996, and every 3 years the accredited labs, they are audited by ISTA to verify that all aspects are that they are complying with all the ISTA regulations. Approximately, there are around 50 audits per year, 30 carried by ISTA staff and 20 by external auditors. Nowadays, ISTA has already more than 140 labs that are accredited in the world. Another important thing about ISTA is what ISTA offers to the labs that got the accreditation. And for the ones that can have access, they have inter-labs tests that they have 3 times a year for the authorized labs, and with other techniques like GMO testing and seed health testing and so on. I was referring that besides the rules, ISTA has, since the beginning of the last century, ISTA certificates. They have 2 colors, the orange certificate and the blue certificate. The difference between both is that the orange certificate as a sample was taken by a sampler that was controlled by the lab. Then the lot is also certified, and the blue one is only certifying the sample that is sent to the lab, because the lab had nothing to do with the sampling procedure. Nowadays, we issue more than 200,000 certificates in the whole world, and ISTA is already working to deploy the e-certificates. Regarding the spreading of the word, ISTA is present in 3 of the social media, LinkedIn, Twitter, and YouTube. It also coordinates with OECD. It publishes the pest lists, and it's a member of the World Seed Partnership that is made up by different organizations that have a common goal, that is to give value and importance to everything that has to do with seed science and technology. The Secretary General and the President of ISTA, they were both highlighting this activity of ISTA, Young at ISTA. This is very important because it's looking forward to have young professionals to be active inside ISTA, and we are analyzing what kind of tools we have to deploy to enable their participation. Other projects that are carried out is the training of trainers with different types of testings. As I was already referring, ISTA coordinates with different organizations worldwide, And the mission is they look forward for the uniformity in the evaluation of seed quality worldwide. And the ISTA members, they work together to achieve their uniformity in the seed quality evaluation worldwide. Our association produced rules that are internationally agreed for sampling and seed sampling and analysis, and it accredited laboratories, promote investigation, provides international certifications for seed testing and training, and it spreads knowledge about seeds. As I was referring, and already coming to the end of my presentation, technical committees, I believe they are the heart of ISTA. They enable the progress of ISTA, the deployment of different technologies that enable and facilitate seed lot trade. And in this slide, I wanted to show you in which committees we already participate. I mean, members from Latin America are participating, and we hope that more are coming to participate. I would like to finish my presentation inviting you to participate in ISTA, to be volunteers, to participate in the different technical committees. It is very important for ISTA to add experiences, add knowledge, add perspectives, so that we all together can improve our work and deploy new methods. I finish my presentation inviting you for our next ISTA conference, the congress that will take place in New Zealand from May 4 to 10, 2022. We hope that the pandemic won't affect the normal this event. I leave you my contact data, and thank you again for letting me participate here. Thank you very much, Ignacio, for your presentation. It was very clear. They keep your contact data so that if they can have any questions for you. We would like to mention that this week, Mariana Menoni, a member of the lab, she will be here in the afternoon. She was chosen by ISTA to be a member of the varietal committee, and we are very happy with this news. Ignacio, we would like to invite you to enjoy the rest of the day with us. And we would like to tell you very briefly how we organize in our country the seed testing in Uruguay. We are sure, so the one that is doing this is INASE in the seed lab. The official lab, and as Daniel was pointing out, all the lots that are going to be traded, they have to be first tested by authorized labs, private authorized lab, or by the official seed analyst or seed testing lab, and that there is result of the testing show that they are complying with the current quality standards. In our country, we have two different types of labs, the authorized labs and the accredited labs. Among the accredited, we have the ones that are in the national level and the Mercosur labs. The authorized labs, they can only analyze seeds that were produced in the country, the national seeds. The national accredited labs, they can not only analyze the national ones, but they can analyze the certified C1 and C2. And the Mercosur labs that are accredited, they can add also the analysis or the testing of imported seeds from C1 and C2, and analyze also the ones for the Mercosur. Here you can see how it is distributed. What's the distribution of the authorized and accredited labs in our country? You can see there is a higher concentration of labs in the West Coast area that is highly related to the seed industry in our country, seed activity in our country. We didn't refer to that. Even if INASE has regional labs in 33, in Paysandú, and in Colonia. The central headquarters are in Canelones. That's the only place where we have a lab. There we have the official seed testing lab, as we so all the international, we have been credited with the international certifications. In our lab, besides the seeds that are analyzed by the private labs, we can also issue certifications for national or imported seeds, and we are the only ones that are allowed to issue ISTA certificate, international ISTA certificates for the seed lots or the samples. About the different categories, we will have a lecture later. We have standards for the authorization and accreditation of the laboratories. All the accredited laboratories, they were first authorized, and after getting to know the expertise of these labs, then they get the accreditation. But in all cases, we first assess the technical experience. They have to be, there has to be a technical responsible person for all the certificate, all the tests that are run in the lab. We also, when they send the request, the authorization request, we get not only the information of the lab, but also the analyst and the technical responsible. We ask them about the scope they want to reach, and then we prepare samples based on that, and we ask the person of the lab to come to INASE, and there we will make an evaluation of their expertise, and then we prepare other samples so that they do the same in their own labs, and if both have good results, then they get the authorization to regarding the professional of this person. If that's not achieved, then we ask them to continue getting prepared, and then we also go and see the facilities. We see the types of samples, the analysis or the tests they want to do, and the reference materials. As we see, also the facilities and reference materials is easier to get. The technical experience of the analyst is important and the most difficult, and that's why we are doing this.
The analysis conducted by the laboratories need to be done following the ISTA rules. And also further regulation determined by the Fisheries and Livestock Ministry of Uruguay. For instance, there is a decree establishing that we need to analyze all the grasses in order to release the lots. The basic analysis that we authorize are physical purity analysis, and also seeds analysis. What they need for is this kind of magnifying glass. These two kinds of magnifying glass are reference materials as well. We request laboratories to have different types of a seed collection, different weeds as well, and other species from our country, and they should also have reference material that is commercially available. Many times they ask us which is the minimum number of scales they need, and this will be determined by the species included in the authorization scope. Here you can see an excerpt of the ISTA rules establishing that according to the weight we need to conduct the purity analysis, then the laboratory will require a number of balances, the scales, the number of scales, and the precision will depend on the scope of the work conducted by the analysis. Also, for dactylis, for instance, labs are required to have a seed blower in order to conduct this analysis. Of course, They can have this equipment as well to analyze the purity of other seeds when the seeds are really dirty. When labs need to analyze rice and they need authorization, we ask them to have this husker machine. For instance, here we have red rice, which includes a weed that is banned in our country. So it's very important for the lab to be sure that they can detect this weed. And first of all, they need to husk the sample looking for this weed. Here we can see here on the right, this equipment, as I was saying, this specific weed is forbidden in our country, and this machine helps guarantee purity. A further analysis is germination analysis. Of course, you should have germination chambers. And how many germination chambers, that depends on the scope requested. This is an excerpt of the Easter rules that shows that some species germinate only at 25, others 20, 30, others 20. So this will depend on the species they are requesting authorization for, and also the seasonality of the seeds, because maybe it's enough to have just one germination chamber. We also evaluate the role of the seeds and the methods they will implement in order to guarantee the results. For instance, here they are determining the temperature, which is one of the necessary requirements, so that our results agree with our plans. Regarding additional tests, for instance, moisture determination, this is a drying stove. The minimum temperature will have to be 135 degrees as determined by the rules. And also the scales to conduct the analysis, and they need to be precise to 0.01 grams. The scales need to be placed close to the stove, and this is what we inspect when we supervise the laboratories. An additional analysis is the titrazolium test. They need just a regular magnifying glass. You already have this to conduct the purity analysis, and also the necessary reactives. We have other types of analysis, but we do not mention them here because they do not require any specific equipment. Regarding sample admission, we ask all laboratories to have a coding system, because all samples need to be coded. And when they reach the laboratory, in order to issue a certificate, they need to have a sampling record. Here we need to establish the minimum information necessary. And it is also regulated that the person sampling the seed needs to be authorized by INASE, and the name and signature needs to be included on the record. The INASE authorization is also the sampler authorization is also something that INASE does. And as of the 1st of July of 2016, everyone that samples seeds need to be authorized by INASE. This standard is available on our website and other documents as well. It establishes that it is necessary to train this sampler, this calibrator, in order to work. Also, the issuance of analysis certificates is regulated, and the requirements are different than those of a national certificate, because we do have specific requirements. The Mercosur certificates actually follow a specific format, and we have a blueprint to follow. Once the laboratory has been authorized, it will maintain this accreditation authorization through periodic supervisions or audit processes. We will supervise the equipment, the authorization, how the lab is working, the procedures also conducted by the different professionals, which quality assurance procedures does the laboratory implement, and what happens with the results report. We will have actually analysis reports that we will be able to audit and supervise. Because at the very beginning, we only have the procedures in writing, but at this stage, we will already have the records. This was a brief overview of our authorization process. Of course, we are at your disposal if you have any kind of questions, and we can provide you with more information at the time. Thank you very much.